Guys, we just had Hannah here, but she jumped down. I've been trying to get this video done, and yes, I got my phone here, as you can see, because I kind of need it to guide me to know where I last left off. The last video I had posted was buses are canceled, snow day. Okay. I have a lot to cover, and I'm on Julia's tablet. I'm trying not to look over this way. You can see part of the pillow here. Okay. I'm used to having the camera directly in the center, and the camera's over here at the top here, and I have it this way instead of upwards. Okay. Alright, what has been going on and what is new? Okay, first I'm going to talk about 2 days before Christmas. Okay, first, can someone let me know if my links are on my homepage? Because I need to find out if my link for Facebook is up there and you're able to access it. If you are, let me know in the box below, and we're all good to go. If not, I will get my butt over there and get that situated and whatnot. There's a lot of things that I'm slowly going through. I have tons of email to go through. I still have my work that I'm working on the table. And I know I have to respect you guys, and I have to try to get to your comments and questions that you may have and get back to you. But I'm not trying to be a procrastinator. You know, I still have my other responsibilities: laundry, cleaning the house, cooking, taking care of Julia, making sure she does her lunch and cleans out her bag and cleans up her room and get her dinner and snacks and all this stuff. And Brian's on days this week, and you know, I do what I can. It's kind of quiet here. It's just me and the two cats, Tiger and Hanna. My sister went off to the dentist, so I kind of jinxed it earlier, and I said, I bet she's going to have a cavity. Usually she does, but let's cross fingers and hope that she doesn't have a cavity. But anyway, what I want to talk about, I don't know if any of you have seen it on your local news, or you've heard about it on the radios, or you might have seen in your papers or whatnot. Because I don't know how many of you get the Canadian information. 2 to 3 days before Christmas, Brampton, Mississauga, Toronto, we were faced with a really bad ice storm. It was a storm that started on Saturday night. I don't know exactly what time, and I think it was finishing up around Sunday at some point. Oh, sorry there. I had a tickle in my throat. Okay, I did post stuff on Facebook and Instagram about that stuff. Video footage and pictures and whatnot, if you haven't already seen. It was an ice storm that I never seen that was terrible. It wrecked our parks. It wrecked a lot of our trees. There was probably more than 1 million trees that were damaged. Trees falling on houses. I heard a story today, and I wasn't quite sure that this particular person's neighbor's tree fell on their roof and put a hole in their roof, I believe. So not only was there trees and branches and all that down, there were a lot of hydro poles that were catching on fire, snapping in half. We had to get hydro from Brampton and around different cities to help. From London, from Ottawa, Mississauga, Toronto. We all pulled together, whoever that came out here to help, helped us restore the hydro. Now, we were very lucky, and I'm very thankful that my house is okay. My tree is a very good provider. Why I'm going to say that is, even though we went through this ice storm, the branches that fell, and the ones that Brian had to borrow a longer and taller ladder to get cut down, she has provided us with some fresh and new firewood, so we can have bonfires in the spring and in the summer. So Brian said he's going to get rid of all the old stuff and he's going to keep all the new stuff. He piled it all up nice and organized here on the patio for now, and cleaned up everything else that he could. Nobody that I know other than just down the street from us, Brian was out and about all day on the Sunday, helping neighbors, cleaning up the driveways, and helping people move branches, and trying to, get it safe so that they could go in and out of their homes and get in their driveways and whatnot. So everyone was doing their part, whether they were cleaning up a neighbor's or their own, whatever. So Brian was up the street with the guys, and they were talking, and they told Gary, "Don't worry about cleaning off your son's car." So Gary didn't listen. He says, "I'm fine. Everything's all right." He went to start cleaning off the car. They heard a crackle, and down came the branch and hit him in the head. He just had some bleeding on the front of his forehead, apparently. They did call an ambulance. The ambulance did come, and they had told him it was going to be a few days wait at the hospital. So I guess they did what they could for him, and he's okay. I saw him yesterday. He was bringing out a TV, I guess, to put to the curb. But today when I walked by, that particular TV that was at the curb was at the front of his driveway, like at the top part of the driveway. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I just know that he's okay. I don't think he needed any stitches, or I'm not sure if he got any stitches, because we haven't talked since the ice storm had hit. After the ice storm, we had a nice 2 weeks off at Christmas. My nose is itchy here. It's itchy. We did get in ice skating at Gage Park, but right now, because of the trees being down and whatnot, the city just wanted to just close the park and tell everybody that it's closed for the winter until they can get the major streets and areas and parks and stuff cleaned up. It's going to stay closed till they can reach getting to the park to be able to clean up that. Sorry there. So, that was good that Julia got in skating at Gage Park once this year. So, after school was back in, she went to school on Monday, and then Tuesday we had a snow day. And it was one of those snow days that they asked everyone to stay in. The schools were open. Brian would have taken Julia to school for half the day because he was on afternoons that week. And the night before, he had stayed till 3 in the morning. So usually when he stays till 3 in the morning, we usually let him sleep till it's time to go to work. So I had checked my phone to make sure 100% that the school buses were canceled. I go on the school board that I have on Facebook, and the buses were canceled for sure. Some cities and some towns had the buses canceled as well as the schools closed, but ours were open. When Julia finally woke up around 9, she got upset. She was crying. She wanted to go to school. Brian kind of woke up because of her getting upset, and he says, Julia, you can't go to school. I can't drive you because the roads are bad and whatnot. And she had a hard time understanding, and she was just getting upset, and she's like, I wanted to go to computers. And Brian's like, we have a computer here, you can go on the computer and whatnot. So he went back to bed, and I went in and I was talking to her, and I says, Julia, can I talk to you? So I tried to get her to stop crying. And then Brian had told me, oh, just let her go on the computer all day. I says, no, we're going to do some other things. So I talked to her, and I explained to her why she couldn't go to school. And I says, if you stop crying, we'll go have some breakfast, and I'll make us some hot chocolate. So I made us some hot chocolate, we had breakfast, and then she got to play the Wii for a little bit, and then she was happy. So that was good. It turned out to be a really good day, and then she got to go to school on Wednesday. We did get a phone call message from the school saying that pizza was canceled for Wednesday and to pack a lunch, which I normally do pack a lunch. I don't know any parent that wouldn't pack a lunch for their kid and just send them to school with money to get pizza. Well, that's kind of crazy. I pack a lunch no matter what, just in case she gets more hungry. So that was dealt with. Her lunch was made. She went to school on Wednesday, and everything was back to normal. And it was cold enough that if the kids stayed out any longer than a Pacific time, you might as well just be ready and prepared to go to the hospital because it was that cold. So we dealt with the snow day, and we dealt with the ice storm, which we're still cleaning up from parts of the ice storm. Yesterday and today, the temperatures have been kind of higher than normal, I believe. Well, let's put it this way. The temperature's at a temperature where the ice is starting to melt, and it's affecting a lot of the rivers and streams, and they're asking people to keep their pets away from there and their children. It's common sense because we don't want anything major, any tragedies happening and whatnot, and my eye is starting to hurt here. I gotta rub my eye here. So that's what's been going on. The snow's been melting somewhat and making slush. And I don't like when there's a lot of slush. I try to avoid going around or not having to go through it, because when I do go through it, it tends to get in the back of my boot. Like, my boots are fine, but it's just when it's slushy, it tends to creep inside my boot. And then my sock gets wet, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So, last week, we've been talking about possibly getting a used minivan. And I thought Brian was going to go for this particular van and talk about it yesterday, but he ended up not going. I had asked him, and he says, well, I need to talk to our broker, or the guy who deals with our car insurance, John. And he says, well, and plus I need my pay stub, kind of thing. And I tried to explain to him. I says, Brian, we don't really need a van at this particular point. He says, well, I we need more space. I don't want to hear Pam and Jay complain. And I says, well, I told him, I says, it's not a big issue. If Jason wants to sit in the front, that's fine. I'm fine with sitting in the back to make